we all need role models and representation out there to help us figure out who we can be and to give us like hope and inspiration. And I was inspired to make this video because that really just recently happened to me.
I was kissing you with my eyes open.
So if you don't know, I am a film student. My dream is to become a female director. And obviously there are some female directors that people do know, but overall the industry is still very male dominated in all aspects, definitely not just directing. And that can be really disheartening sometimes. Most of my professors have been male, and that's fine. I have enjoyed them all. I think they're no great things, and they've been, they've been great professors. Just because they're men doesn't mean they're bad professors. But this semester, I am starting taking my BFA directing classes because I got into the concentration this past spring. And for both of my directing classes, my professors are actually women. And that is awesomely just awesome for me, especially because out of the group of us, I think there are like 10 or 12 of us. It's a little hard to tell on Zoom because we didn't have our big like greeting moment. There's just people appearing, but there were only 2 women in the concentration, including myself. So the fact that this mostly male class, we have a female professor, that means like they can do it, and they did it, obviously, they're doing it, and I can do that too. It's only been 2 weeks of my semester, but it's already been pretty tough with a lot of work going on, and it's just very different being on campus since there is COVID-19 happening. So it has been really amazing to have these professors who I feel like they've kind of been in my shoes, obviously not directly, but in a similar way, and they are made it, and I can do that too. And it just made me kind of think about how important it is to see representation in whatever your field is, because before I wanted to go into film, I was really interested in science and neuropsychiatry specifically, and I would have been hard pressed to find that many females in that career. I've also been watching Bones again, and there's that episode where she is asked to be on that TV show for kids, and one of her friends in the show tells her that she'll be showing a lot of little girls out there that if they dream being a scientist, they can do that. And basically all these reasons are just to say why I'm making this video, and hopefully I'll cut part of this intro because it's been longer than I wanted it to be, but it's been a weird time. Also, if anything moves over there, I don't know if you can see him, but my roommate's cat's chilling, so that was just like a little warning. Sorry again about this intro, but before we get also into it, I just want to clarify that I'm also not just talking about representation as far as industry and career goes, and that is because I am bisexual. Shout out to my little pride flag. But I'm also Catholic, and that was really hard for me at first, and the reason I was really able to embrace that part of myself and realize that I can be both was the fact that in my church there was a lesbian cantor, and she was pretty much my role model for being a Catholic, because first of all, I was in the choir, she was in the choir, and I felt like we were kind of related in that sense. And the fact that she was able to be LGBTQ+ and still be a big member of the community and still believe in God and still have this great relationship with him made me feel like I could have that too. So that's a role model that wasn't in a career, but just in a community, a part of my life that I really wanted to feel valued in, and she really helped with that. So yeah. Now on to kind of getting into a little bit about why role models are so important. And I did a little bit of research about this, and I will be linking everything in the description down below. So if you're interested in reading any of these articles, please do so. Basically, we need to know that we can achieve our dreams, whatever those dreams are. Our expectations are built up by what we see around us. So, kind of a more basic example that doesn't have to do with representation and role models would be, we see that in the summertime, or we experience that it's really hot. So our expectation for summer is that it's really warm, at least if you're in North America. So that's a summer thing. I expect summer to be warm. If all of a sudden I go somewhere else, say, and then their summers aren't warm, that's kind of like a whoa, this is possible. And that's pretty much what representation and different role models are, because if you grow up thinking, okay, well, I can't be an astronaut because all the astronauts we ever hear about are men, then maybe you'll give up on that. But then you realize that, I mean, like right now there are women going up to the International Space Station. So it's like, you can do that. You can be an astronaut because someone else is doing it. And even if someone else didn't do it, there's something that maybe you can relate to. Like, obviously we have not had a female president yet of the United States of America, but there are other leaders around the globe that are women, and there are other political leaders and politicians, that's the same thing, political leaders and politicians, that are women in the United States. So you can always think of like a jumping off point, but in order to have that jumping off point, it needs to at least exist, which is why it's so important to have these role models so you can see, okay, well, this is possible, and if this is possible, maybe this is possible. And then once that's achieved, it just kind of goes up a nice ladder of support and building up what we can do and what we can accomplish. And I do want to point out that for me, because I am a cisgender female, I do personally have experience with these female role models, but I would say if you are non-binary or gender fluid or anything like that, then having role models who are also non-binary, gender fluid, etc. is also really important. And I just didn't have time, because I wanted to keep this video pretty short, to delve into that as well. Role models do not just tell us what we can be in our lives. They also influence our actions and motivate us to look into our weaknesses and work to our strengths, if they're a good role model. You've definitely heard of bad role models and good role models. I would say like a big, pretty famous bad role model on YouTube at the moment would be Tana Mojo. I think that's how you pronounce her last name. She just recently put out like an apology video months late of what's been going on. Doesn't take herself accountable. She doesn't hold herself accountable for anything, and she pretty much just makes the same mistake over and over again. And that is not a good role model for teenagers, children, young women, anyone watching her, because they're gonna think, oh, well, she's famous, so she can just party and do whatever she likes and break social distancing rules, and it's fine. So I can do that too. And that's obviously not fine. So she's a bad role model. Versus like a good role model, I would say, who's, maybe this is not a YouTuber good role model, but would be Emma Watson, I think. She's obviously an actress, people presumably know who she is, but she works really hard towards feminine equality, and she speaks out, she uses her platform to really share news, spread awareness, and kind of build people up. So I think she's a good role model. And role models also don't have to be famous people. You can look up to your friends or your family members for different kinds of influence that you're seeking in your life. And sometimes you just kind of have them anyways. So I think parents are kind of role models you can't escape. Luckily for me, my parents really taught me how to work hard and to do my best. But I know not everyone is as fortunate as to have parents like that. If you're not as fortunate as to have role models right there in your life, whether they be parents, teachers, mentors of some kind, coaches, friends, etc., then it is up to you, honestly, to pick role models out for yourself. And you can do that by industry, by community.
It's the time to unlearn all those barriers. They all fall down now. There's nothing in the way when they say, take it slow. A knowing smile starts to grow. Our moons have moved the seas. I have.
With that being said, if you learned something or like something, please give it a thumbs up. Comment down below who your role models are. Ideally female role models for those clicking on this video in case they want to find more people to look up to or to see if they're worth looking up to. But obviously anyone is welcome. And with that being said, I'm going to be signing off because I think I need to take a nap. Bye.